Alrighty, folks, last night I wrapped up my playthrough of Breath of the Wild on Master Mode. This was my first time playing through this game in over 6 years. I know, that's crazy to say, and I was a little reluctant to play it so close to Tears of the Kingdom because, I didn't want to burn myself out, but, the hype got the better of me, so I decided to do a little casual Master Mode playthrough of Breath of the Wild, and, something that I've been kind of afraid of, not just being burned out before Tears of the Kingdom, but something I've been afraid of with Breath of the Wild for years now is whether or not it would feel as exciting playing it the first time, or playing it the second time as it did the first time, right? Because Breath of the Wild is all about discovery and seeing all these things for the first time, and, I don't know if it's quite to that level playing it again, because, that was like the Switch launch, I was 16 when that game came out, so, it was a different time, and the context of that situation was just exciting in general. But I have to say, replaying Breath of the Wild for the first time in 6 years, this time on Master Mode, which I never really dived too deep into when that came out, I have to say it really still surprised me. I don't know if it's just because I forgot a lot of stuff, in 6 years. I'm not going to remember every single terraformed geographical location. So maybe that's why, but a lot of it genuinely felt new to me. It was still exciting, and even the stuff I knew about, the shrines I remembered, redoing them for the first time, it was exciting, because I was like, oh, I remember that. When I got off the plateau, after, well, we'll talk about the plateau, but when I got off the plateau and I saw the green dragon, I can't remember its name, I was like, oh, wow. This game's freaking awesome, man. That sense of discovery is still there. I wasn't going super in depth. I was mostly, kind of just beelining for the most part. If I saw a shrine, I did it no matter what. I did the Divine Beast. I got all the towers. I did not get all the memories. And, I beat the story. I think I ended with about 40 shrines done. So, what would that be? 1/3 of the total shrines in the game. Not terrible, but, I didn't go crazy with this game. I didn't do very many side quests or anything. But just doing all these things again and going through the motions, even though I wasn't exploring every single, ruined fortress I see and going over after every Korok I saw, it was still just a ton of fun experiencing this game again, in a new kind of context. Now that we're 6 years, removed from the Switch, it was just a lot of fun to go back to this. So I wanted to talk about it today and just kind of go over my thoughts 6 years later on Breath of the Wild, this time playing on Master Mode. So when Master Mode came out, I guess, let me correct myself. It hasn't been exactly 6 years since I played the game, but it has been 6 years since I beat it, because Master Mode came out in June of 2017, the first wave of that DLC with the new armor and all that, and the Hero Path mode. That's when that came out. That was the last time I touched this game. I never played the Champions Ballad, which I still haven't, and I'm thinking about it. So, when Master Mode came out, I did a little bit of that. I think I did Va Meadow, and that was it. Just because I was like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I got Va Meadow for Rivali's Gale, and then I just kind of dropped it, right? So this is my first time fully playing through Master Mode, and I remember it being kind of BS back then. It's still kind of BS. The level scaling and, like, the difficulty scaling in Breath of the Wild, even in its base game, is really interesting because you are at your weakest in either playthrough when you first start. No matter what, you are only going to do better as you get further on. Enemies will get stronger later on. You'll be finding more Lionels. In Master Mode, you'll be finding some, yellow enemies, that kind of thing. But the Great Plateau was by far the hardest part of this game in terms of just, like, exploring the overworld. We'll get to some boss fights later on, the blights and Calamity Ganon. But, yeah, the Great Plateau is kind of rough. Because if you don't know, in Master Mode, you when you hit an enemy, if you don't hit them fast enough, they'll start regenerating their health. Now, they're not going to regen all the way to max health. They'll regen like a percentage. I'm not sure what that percentage is. Maybe it's 50% of the damage they just took, something like that. But they'll start regenning. And in some instances, it is so aggressive that it kind of, for the first, I want to say like 10 hours, I basically just didn't engage. I didn't engage in any combat. It almost turned the Great Plateau into a stealth game where I was just trying to run around and get to the shrines and just hide. Because, the way, another way that Master Mode kind of scales up the difficulty is basically, right. So in Breath of the Wild, there was like a red bokoblin, right? And that's the base easy bokoblin. In Master Mode, it automatically gets leveled up to blue. And the blue ones get upgraded to what is it, the brown bokoblins, or maybe the white ones, whatever's next after that. So basically every enemy in this game gets upgraded 1 tier. As far as I'm aware, there's not a single red bokoblin in this game, or in Master Mode. They all turn to blue, and then, it goes up from there. Same with Lionel, same with Lizalfos and Moblins, that kind of thing, right? So not only are the enemies stronger right off the bat, but they also regen health. So I was terrified. I was just sneaking around, doing what I can. Eventually, I did get the Majora's Mask from the first wave of DLC as well, which made sneaking around a lot easier. But that like first like couple hours on the plateau, and then even after you get off the plateau, was a lot of fun, because it just, you take it a lot more seriously. When you're playing Breath of the Wild for the first time, or at least when I played it for the first time on normal mode, it was just kind of chill. You're just walking around slapping bokoblins with sticks, and they die from the sticks. And this, they don't. I mean, you can, if you do your flurry rushes right and you have a lot of sticks, but even then your inventory is so limited, and you don't have that much equipment, so it's really hard to kill enemies at the start. But once you get off the plateau, the game opens up so freaking much. So, I kind of did it in a I want to say Nintendo recommended pathway. I went to Kakariko, went to Hateno, went to, I think it was Varuda next, right? The elephant. But that's where I kind of started splitting off a little bit, right? At that point, I did Varuda up to the point where I could fight Water Blight, and I was like, I don't want to fight this boss right now. So I then skipped all the way over to, the Hebra region and did the storyline with the Rito, and then got onto Va Meadow, and I actually ended up doing Va Meadow first, I believe. So, because I wanted Rivali's Gale. Rivali's Gale breaks this game, and I needed it, right? So I did Va Meadow, and then I just skipped back, and then immediately did back-to-back, Wind Blight and then Water Blight, right? And something I didn't realize with this game is that I messed up. I didn't know that the blights actually scale based on which you do first and which you do last. In my Breath of the Wild playthrough back in 2017, I did Thunder Blight first. In this playthrough, I did Thunder Blight last on Master Mode. I really sincerely messed up. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm great at this game or anything, especially not now replaying it again. I was getting pretty good at, like, the parrying and stuff and the flurry rushes back in 2017, but now all that stuff had left me. By the end of this playthrough, I pretty much had to train myself again to get good at it, because Thunder Blight, I hate Thunder Blight. I cannot believe how long that fight took me. Now, listen, I didn't, once again, I basically just beelined the main story stuff. I didn't get any upgraded armor. I had 13 hearts at the time of that, because I got the Master Sword, right? And I didn't upgrade stamina, like, at all. So fighting Thunder Blight on Master Mode, when it regens health, was such a pain in the ass. The other blights, you can pretty much just keep hammering them. Water Blight's really easy. Yeah, he does a thing where he, has the platforms and you have to swim a little bit. But if you have bomb arrows, there's literally no fear. Same thing with Wind Blight. The only thing that he does that's gimmicky is he does like the wind gust that sucks wind towards him, and you throw a bomb and then he does damage. So the regenerating health that's added in Master Mode isn't an issue for any of the other bosses. But with Thunder Blight, this little rat freaking does this like dash thing, and then he goes back and gets like armor, and he has this shield, and it's such a pain in the ass. Let's just put it that way. Eventually I triumphed, and it was really annoying. What I actually did was I didn't have great equipment, so I just left, went to Hyrule Castle, took some stuff, and then zipped back to him, and I beat him like first try after that. But yeah, that was certainly an experience, and it made me appreciate the design of the Blight fights a little bit more, because definitely made me think about it a little bit more and put more strategy into it. I will say though, Thunder Blight's arena, just being the circular like cylinder room, sucked. And we'll talk about the Divine Beast in a little bit. But yeah, definitely made me appreciate the Blights a little bit more in terms of the way they're designed and just kind of learning their patterns, because in normal mode I didn't have to do that at all. You just it's pretty easy in normal mode, right? And I guess while we're talking about bosses, let's go and talk about Calamity Ganon. Thunder Blight definitely gave me the most difficulty with any boss in this game, but Calamity Ganon, I was playing this game, and my friend Caleb was watching me. I've done some discussions with him. I did one yesterday. Go check out that. We did some story theories for Tears of the Kingdom, but he was watching me play and finding Calamity Ganon, and at this point, it was right after I fought Thunder Blight, so I was getting pretty in tune with like doing flurry rushes and all that, but I still didn't have any crazy equipment. I had like no bomb arrows. So I went in a little underprepared, right? Calamity Ganon, even though he got taken down to half health. This is so funny. In Master Mode, if you damage him once and then back away, his health will actually go above the halfway point, which shouldn't happen. Because if you don't know, if you do all the blights, you start that fight where he's at half health, right? But because it's Master Mode, he'll regen that health. And he ended up having like 75% of his health. And if that happened, I was like, nope, restarting. Because I was like, not doing this. I'm not getting him back down that far. I don't feel like dealing with that. Because what gets really annoying is when Calamity Ganon goes on the wall and you have to shoot him. Especially when he gets to his second phase, where he has like this orange, almost like Daruk's protection armor on him, and you literally can't damage him. It is the most frustrating thing in Master Mode of all time, when you can't damage the enemy and they just start regenerating health. Calamity Ganon in particular, the speed at which his health regenerated was comical. Me and Caleb were looking at it, we were like, this has to be glitched. Because it was that fast. I don't think I recorded any of the footage, so you're probably seeing mostly trailers of the game. I apologize for that. But yeah, that was fun, getting through that. And yeah, definitely just redoing these on Master Mode definitely made me appreciate them a little bit more. The Divine Beasts, however, as dungeons, I actually appreciate them less. They're not great, man. They're really just not great. You know, I can't think of a specific moment in any of them that was good, to be completely honest with you. They're just boring. I love the shrines. I know people that typically dislike the Divine Beasts also dislike the shrines. I think the shrines are great. And it's not necessarily just about the visual distinction between them. I just think doing the puzzles in the Divine Beasts is boring. So, I don't know, man. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but they're just kind of, they're whatever. So, yeah, man, playing through Breath of the Wild again on Master Mode and beating it, you know, I didn't do everything once again. I don't have the time to 100% it before Tears of the Kingdom. It was a lot of fun, and this game holds up. Do I have issues with it? Absolutely. Specifically with the Divine Beasts and the dungeons themselves. But, you know, going through the shrines again, fighting Master Koga and doing the Yiga Clan hideout, it just took me back 6 years ago, which I know will make some people feel ancient, but that is nostalgic for me at this point. You know, I was 16 then. And now I'm about to be 23, so replaying this game was an absolute treat. Definitely scummed some amiibo. Definitely abused some amiibo for some bomb arrows and all that. I won't even lie at certain points. But that's why I played it originally at first. So yeah, replaying this game, it absolutely holds up. I was always afraid, you know, after playing it in 2017 that it wouldn't be as exciting. The sense of discovery wouldn't be there. And I don't know if it's just because I waited long enough that I forgot a lot of the stuff, the intricate details of the map in this game. But it definitely holds up. I was pleasantly surprised and pleased by how exciting it was playing this game again on Master Mode for the first time. So let me know, have you replayed Breath of the Wild recently? And if so, do you think it holds up as much on second or subsequent playthroughs as it does on the first playthrough? No matter what, your first playthrough is always going to be special, especially if you played it in the context of the Switch launch and you know, you were a Nintendo fan at the time, because that was just a special moment in gaming time right there. But I have to say, yeah, let me know. Does playing it on your subsequent playthroughs hold up for you just as much as it did for me? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Of course, subscribe here so you don't miss a single Nintendo video, Tears of the Kingdom video, all the fun stuff. And follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Until next time, folks, peace!